Manatees are often referred to as sea cows. Manatees are charming marine animals known for their gentle and unique habitat behaviors. But where do these charming giants call their own? Manatees can be found in varieties of different habitats across the globe. They also thrive in shallow, slow-moving waters, estuaries with life, saltwater bays, and canals. You might ask yourself, how do these habitats change with the seasons? The answer is manatees do exhibit seasonal movements. Manatees migrate to warmer waters such as natural springs or power plant outfalls, where the water temperatures remain consistently warm. They then return to their normal habitats when temperatures rise.
So manatees are creatures of specific habit requirements with their aquatic herbivorous nature. The Florida manatee thrives mainly in coastal/inland waters off the Florida East Coast, with a high rate of interaction between humans on that coastal environment. They usually feed on aquatic vegetation, so seagrasses like turtle grass, which is pretty common around the Florida East Coast. And then you have mango leaves and different types of algae. They feed in copious amounts to satisfy their huge appetites. Their unique ability to traverse freshwater and saltwater helps them exponentially in their feeding situation. But when looking at their migratory trends, manatees tend to stay in warmer tropical waters that do not drop below 20 degrees. They also have a more sporadic migratory instinct, so wherever the food is, they follow. If the water temps are bad, they won't live there. This leads them to travel long distances if necessary to find warm, vegetation-filled habitat to their unique needs.
Climate change causes a shift in long-term weather patterns in a given area. In Florida, a place where many manatees call home, climate change is causing water temperatures and salinity to rise. These warmer waters cause more evaporation and therefore more heavy rainfall. These warm waters are also prone to fostering hurricanes. Hurricanes along the Florida coast are expected to become stronger and more frequent. These storms will cause increased sedimentation, a drop in salinity, and destruction of wetland habitats. This is problematic because manatees need to eat 1/10 of their body weight each day. If the ecosystem doesn't have time to regrow between storms, it could reach its carrying capacity and be unable to support a large population of manatees. With these storms also comes large amounts of rainfall. This increase of freshwater causes the salinity to drop drastically, forcing the manatees to find somewhere else to continue to live comfortably. This could push the manatees further out to sea to find a salinity they like. The opposite is true during the dry season. Because Florida stays relatively warm, there is still lots of evaporation taking place. If there is a prolonged drought, it will cause surface salinity to increase, pushing the manatees further inland. This squishes them up against the mainland and limits their habitat and stresses the ecosystem. All of these factors can cause the manatee population to struggle and decline in numbers.
Manatees also have a huge impact on coastal economies, mainly through tourism. Millions of tourists flock every year to places like Florida and Louisiana to see these adorable creatures. As these tourists flock to these places, they also bring in millions of dollars to these towns and their each individual economies. Research done in Florida has shown that each individual manatee generates about $16,000 to $17,000 in tourist expenditures. As you can see, manatees play a huge role in our economy, which is why in 2021 and 2022, when there was a huge mortality event that happened to manatees, which dropped population numbers by 25%, the economy took a huge hit. In fact, over $18 million was lost in tourist expenditures during this time. Research also shows that manatee population numbers are starting to slowly decline from factors such as climate change.
Climate change is one of the most dangerous problems for the manatee population, but there are many ways to help combat global climate change that is affecting our oceans. One of the most common phrases is reduce, reuse, and recycle. It is important to reduce or limit what waste we generate because a lot of it ends in the oceans where the manatees live. We also need to reuse old items such as glass containers so that they do not end up in landfills. What we cannot use, we must recycle so it can be repurposed. According to the United Nations, plastic products alone generated over 1.8 billion tons of greenhouse gas emissions in 2019, and that number is steadily increasing. One of the most important ways to prevent climate change is to stay informed. Mass media has a tendency to only show what people want to see regarding climate change and its effects on the environment. And some organizations don't believe in the concept at all. It is important to ensure what you're observing is true, which can be done by following scientific institutes, nature organizations such as the Parks and Wildlife Departments and National Geographic, and government agencies such as NOAA.